Greetings and welcome to the 1 6 scale man proudly presents. You know what it is, comic book talk with friends Monday. Always a good time to be here, especially when you've had a stressful day like I have. You're here. So definitely excited about it. So glad to have everybody here with us. Those who are tuning in and are watching with us. Those who aren't, I guess we'll see you later on. But again, tonight is spoiler talk. Spoiler talk of the first episode of She-Hulk. So excited about it. So excited to talk about it. Again, um, you know, it was a great show, great opening to a brand new season of a comic that I've read pretty much, since its inception. Experimental comic, experimental character. So definitely, I'm so glad to see that finally she gets her just due. You know, the first and the strongest of them all, as far as the female characters and goes. And so happy to actually have her here, actually with her introduction into the MCU. But again, thank you guys for basically being here. Before we continue, though, I do want to make a announcement. Continue to basically go on with the announcements that we always make, and I always make every week, especially with the movement that I'm pushing right now, which is currently the Halloween Initiative. Now, the Halloween Initiative is basically going to be running from now up until mid-October, and it's basically geared towards more so less fortunate children, those who are and want to celebrate Halloween, but can't really afford to get costumes. This initiative will be carried on this month on into October. Is geared towards, again, helping underprivileged children have the opportunity to enjoy the festivities by having a costume. Again, all proceeds will go towards the an organization that we are dealing with at the moment, which is a women's shelter, as well as the Still High Elementary School. As far as making sure that the kids do have costumes, we are also actually having right now a as of today, as a matter of fact, going forward, we'll put the information up going forward on Wednesday. There will be a giveaway, but it's more so a raffle. That is, I'm sorry, not a giveaway, but more so of an actual raffle. The raffle basically is going to be for a Iron Scavenger, courtesy of my guy, my mellow Funky Cold Santa. So thank you very much for his donation. Again, that will be up on. It will go live on Wednesday on Say What. So tune in for that. And there will be slots. You can apply for those slots, in which once we have filled up those slots, we will have a drawing for those who actually anticipated, and all the proceeds from those slots and that raffle will go towards, again, this special cause. So that is something that we're going to be doing. So right now, as far as every super chat that we get, all super chats go towards this, as well as the raffle once that starts on Wednesday. So definitely it's going to be the Halloween Initiative. It's all going towards a good cause. Thank you for those who have already participated and donated. Again, we definitely appreciate you guys. So again, without further ado, I want to basically bring in my amazing panel for the evening. These guys are always the ones that actually continue to hold me down. So I'm glad to have them here with us tonight. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Pretty good, man. Good.
That's good, man. So glad to have you here. So glad to have y'all here tonight. We're going to have amazing discussion, man. Such an amazing discussion. For everybody who's actually tuning in, thank you for basically being here. We'll probably have more pouring in later on, but that's without saying. Anyway, Brennan, how was your day going, man? How was your day today?
It was good, man. Yeah, I was just chilling and just working solid. Once I woke up this morning, getting a lot of work done, and then got to chill and read some comics and quickly watch the House of Dragons premiere.
Yeah.
Checked that out. It was good. I'm still on the fence about it, but it was decent. But yesterday was more fun than anything because I found like my nirvana, my heaven was this new comics and collectibles shop that opened up about a half hour north of me.
Okay.
This place was spectacular.
Okay.
Tons of like like vintage books. Like, and this dude knows how to like he knows how to keep books in good condition. Like he literally had like this like yellow chain before you walked into the area with like the legit books, and like that had somebody there. Is like, you know how to handle comics,
Yeah.
and like they'd be like, no, I know what I'm doing. It's like, okay, because if you don't, it's gonna be a problem. And then they would actually let you into that section of the store. Um, just so I picked up some really good books, got some really good deals. But they had like everything you'd think of. They had like sports memorabilia, they had like signed like Harlem Globetrotters, like basketballs, and tons of like, baseballs and bats, all these things signed, jerseys, and then like cards. They had like whole boxes of like the 89 Batman movie cards that they put out back in the day. Um, had just like all kinds of old like vintage like Kenner toys, like stuff from like 50s, 60s, 70s, like all throughout, like everything that you could think of. So it was like just like old school like collectibles too, not just like comic stuff, but the
Yeah.
comics were insane. So yeah, I spent a couple of hours there, and that's gonna be a spot that I'm going back to like a lot. And I talked a lot with the owner, so I'm gonna like work out some deals for some Daredevil lots he's got coming in. So it was a good weekend.
That's good, bro. Sounds like it was a dope weekend, man. So again, so good to have you here and sharing the information with us. Everybody always support your mom and pop comic shop next to you, especially within your area. They need
Yeah,
help too, especially to keep going. So excited about that. Jedi Kid, man, how you doing, man? How was your weekend, bro?
It was a good weekend, man. I just relaxed. Went to the beach, and I got to take some pictures out in nature. I love taking pictures outside, bro. It gives a figure a whole different pop when you do it outside. So I had
Yeah, it
that
was
time to
dope, bro.
myself. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I had that time to myself, and then Monday, it's like the second week of school for my little one, my youngest one. So I had to go pick up violins. I had to do, man, it was crazy. Today was banana. So, but it's cool. It's over. I'm here with you guys about to talk about the She-Hulk stuff and have
Yeah,
a good time, man.
yeah, definitely, man. So excited, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about the
yeah.
show, too, man. So good to have you here with us.
Yo,
Ben,
and you were right. This thing
what's
is
up?
flawless. Oh
Yeah, bro.
my God. I love it, bro.
Yeah, like I said, I've loved the show. Even they've answered a lot of questions, and on top of that, they've improved on a lot of things that were, people had fear of in the very beginning. Told you, you just needed to wait. Anyway, Vinny, so glad to have you here, bro. How you doing, man? Well, how was your weekend, brother?
Little bit of a buzzer beater. That's late, but not late for the show, so that's always a plus.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Good weekend, man. Chill weekend. On Saturday, I had the honor of doing a signing at a local comic book shop here, and
Yeah, yeah,
that was really cool because the local comic shop is one that I've been going to since I was like a kid. So it was a cool little like little full circle sort of so to speak. Because I've been going there since I was a kid, so it was pretty cool being someone who's actually like contributing to the store and
yeah,
strong and signing. So um, so I had some you know people come by and check out some art and purchase some art, and my nephew stopped by. That was really cool, and got to hang out in a comic book store for the afternoon. So that was pretty good. Had a decent day there too. So it was fun, and then spent the rest of the weekend pretty much just chilling out. Didn't do anything too crazy this weekend. It was a rare weekend where I didn't have too much going on. So I just kind of like recharged the batteries a little bit on Sunday. Worked in the comic book room, little bit of organizing and getting stuff bagged and boarded, that type of stuff. But doing a little filing and whatnot, and then I checked out House of Dragons last night. I really loved it. It was
yeah, yeah.
it was really good. I was really impressed with how they jumped off. It was it had that Game of Thrones feel. So I was really impressed. I'm really looking forward to see where they go from here. So I'm chilling.
So good, bro. Glad. Same here, man. I watched it last night. I definitely enjoyed what we actually got a chance to see. It was definitely a really dope show. So hopefully everybody else got a chance to check it out like we did. But yeah, man, before we jump into the main topic today, I want to address the chat real quick and let everybody know we got here. We got Tobar Keefe is in the building. Real and Style Latino is in the building with us. We got AJ Agrusa. We got Lou Minar, as always. Calvin Williams, my guy, is in the building. Who else? We got the Ill Yankee here with us. We got Kate Carter in the building. It's always good to have you here, man. We got One Pouch Man. We got Man What in the building. I love that name. Mikey Lito, my guy Mikey Lito is in here, man. Thank you for being here with us, bro. Alvin J. We got two Ferns. And yeah, we got a couple more people basically, scooting in here pretty soon. Let me see who else. Let's see who else we got. Yeah, a few people that actually coming through late, but better late than never. But yeah, what we are basically here to talk about today. Again, I'm so excited about this show. One of the biggest things that I want to say off the top, and before we get there, okay, because what we're going to do basically is we're going to jump into the show. But does anybody actually have any comic references and if they want to actually talk about any pickups that they had this weekend that they want to kind of address?
Yeah.
I did more following than reading this week, so I don't have any new recommends. But hopefully I get caught up on that so I can get caught up on reading because I have a lot of reading to catch up on. Yeah,
definitely. I like I said, I mean, I had a few pickups. Well, actually, I was supposed to go pick up a few of them, but I didn't get a chance to get over there because I had a busy weekend. Wedding on Saturday, and then my daughter was here yesterday, so it was just too much going on. Brennan, you said you had a pickup, bro?
Yeah, I got a handful have come in of late. I picked up this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Moon Knight 13.
That's dope.
I love that cover. Then picked up Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man number 27. This is the first time that Frank Miller ever drew Daredevil in this crossover, so I picked that up.
That's awesome, man.
And then this actually has relevance to the She-Hulk show because this is the first appearance of Leapfrog, who is going to make an appearance in the She-Hulk show. So that's cool. It's actually a story written by Stan Lee, and it's the first appearance of Mike Murdock, which is Matt's made up fictitious twin brother. This is number 69. It's an appearance of Black Panther and the Murderous Thunderbolts. But this is also the first appearance of Turk, who a lot of people would remember from the Netflix show if you haven't read the books. Then I picked up the first appearance of Typhoid Mary, which is one that I was looking for, so that's really nice. Then I picked up the first appearance of Lady Bullseye. And I love her character and her design too, so that was cool.
The uniform is dope, yeah.
I know, dude. Then I picked up three variants of Daredevil 600. This is the first one is the red suit. These are Joe Quesada covers. So the first one is the red suit. But the next two, this is the trade dress, this is the yellow and red, and this is signed by Joe Quesada. And then this is the black suit, also signed by Joe Quesada.
Cool.
So I
love that last
those up. $5.95, which is just one of my favorite all-time covers because it's like a noir movie style cover. So I grabbed that. This most recent Daredevil number 2 that just dropped.
Yeah.
And then I managed to pick this up for a steal with all the spec right now because of the leak. So this is the first appearance of Ben Reilly as the Scarlet Spider.
Yeah.
Oh, I had that. I had that one.
So picked that one up. And then I guess
what's dope about that though is that if you look at the latest version of Ben Reilly in his suit, it sort of has hints of that old suit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can actually see it with the emblem. The color wise, his new suit has hints of that suit, so it's dope. Yeah.
And then the only other thing is, and I just wanted to put this out there as a tip for anybody who's collecting older books, you're trying to pick up stuff from the 70s, the 80s, one, there's a difference between like newsstand and direct edition. Newsstand are ones that were actually sent to like actual like newsstands.
Newsstands, yeah.
Direct edition is like sent to like larger like shops and stuff like that. So typically the direct edition will either say direct edition or it'll have like that familiar kind of like head, like cap or Spidey, down at the bottom there. Whereas the newsstands will more often than not, they won't say newsstand, but they'll have the barcodes on them. Not every barcode is a newsstand, but so I had like this issue, for example, the direct edition, but I came across the newsstand and he gave me a good deal on it. And the newsstand tends to, because it's in a lower print run, it's also more valuable. So it's just something where it was worth me picking up a double. So that way, if I want to keep one, but I also want to flip one, I can do that. But the other thing is looking at the quality of the book too. So I had the newsstand of this issue before, okay, 175, but I found this one at the shop that I was at yesterday, and I don't know if it really shows on camera, but
it's definitely darker.
The newer one has much richer, more vibrant colors. Than the one that I had already had. So when you which way? There we go. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, the color is much more vibrant on the newer one, like the one that he had, than the one I had, and I knew that, so I picked it up because I love that cover, so I don't mind having two copies of it. But that's when you see that it's not just like, are there tears, are there, spine ticks and stuff like that. It's also, has the color faded? Is it richer in one versus the other? If you plan on getting something graded, that does get factored in. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking for older books, when you're collecting older books, because sometimes you'll come across a better condition copy of one that you already have, and it might be worth picking that one up, even though you already have one in your collection already. So just something to keep in mind.
Now, which one is worth more? Is it direct newsstand or like
typically it's mom and pop? The same. Yeah,
there's not going to be a huge variance in that for most things. There will be occasional ones like big keys where a newsstand will be more. A lot of times it'll depend on how many newsstand copies are out there in circulation and graded versus the direct edition. So it's not like a guarantee that it's going to be more valuable. But for certain keys, for certain big ones, if the newsstand run was really low and a lot of them got damaged or something like that,
from being outside,
scarcity can make it more valuable. It's not like you have to have it. Like, I would be perfectly fine if I have a direct edition of a book that I really love, but when I had the opportunity to pick up a newsstand and it was a good deal, then I jumped on it. But it's not like an absolute necessity.
No, cool. I don't have any recent pickups besides from our regular pulls, but since it's She-Hulk Day, I'll just drop the number one. So
there you go, nice.
There you go, boy.
You gotta have this, man.
That shit is fire, bro.
One of the iconic, She-Hulk covers. A lot of clear there. I apologize, but she has some really awesome covers over her run, and
I got a couple of her books.
A lot of interesting comics that she's had over her run, but I had to get that one graded, so that was a fun one to get, and it's really cool to see that there is now a show based on her, considering how much a fan a lot of us have been of the character over the years. So I can't wait to dive in and talk about this show.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited about it for a couple of different reasons. One, because like I said, I mean, if you're reading the latest storyline of She-Hulk, which I have been, it's very interesting because Jack of Hearts is back. Of course, you know that Jack of Hearts pretty much earlier rendition when he was part of the Avengers, and they were on the same team. He damn near almost killed her, but again, sacrificing himself, which we believed he sacrificed himself and passed, but he didn't. But that's the latest run. She's reconditioning herself after, pretty much we know that she's always been in the position where she kind of remakes herself. In this, she's starting from ground zero again, remaking herself, working for a smaller law firm where, pretty much she's starting from nothing to rebuild herself. Jack and Hart appears, and that's when everything just completely changes. So the latest run on She-Hulk, I mean, it's beautifully written and it's beautifully drawn. Like, I love the artwork for this book. So definitely, if you get a chance to get it, I would check it out if you haven't already. And number two, just excited because Renz Talentino is going to basically draw me a She-Hulk. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, man, I'm just putting it out there in the universe. But now I did talk to him today. He was like, yeah, he's going to actually do it. So yeah, excited about that. But yeah, want to talk about the show again because here's the thing. I think in the very beginning there was skepticism based off of the simple fact that we dealt with an earlier trailer that really had some concerns with it when it came to CGI. That was the main thing. Less of story, more about the CGI and how it was actually done. I am happy to report from at least my perception that the CGI looks great. It looks phenomenal. Like, if you ever want to draw a CGI or create a CGI character of She-Hulk as beautifully as they've done, it's phenomenal because she's a beautiful CGI woman. Like, literally she is, bro. And I love the way they've actually created this character. Again, you have to keep in mind that before there was a Deadpool and before there was a character to break the fourth wall, she was the first. So give her respect, especially where it's due. There's been a few characters, but she was the main one who actually did it and was allowed to do it in the comics, especially, first iteration when she was actually introduced. So I'm glad that the show itself is still following with that same aspect of it. But the CGI for me is incredible. The first episode to me was completely phenomenal. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I love the simple fact that we got a hint. For those who haven't seen it, I hope you've seen it by now because this is spoiler talk. We got a hint of what could possibly be pretty much a plot device for the Hulk himself going further. If you saw the first episode, there's so many speculations of who and what was on that ship at that point, and how it's going to be addressed. And I love that they tossed that in there, but it was subtle. It wasn't something they expanded on with the episode because, again, keep in mind, this is the She-Hulk show. So I love how they actually did that. They did change the narrative slightly with the simple fact that they did change the narrative slightly with the simple fact that how she received her powers. But I wasn't mad at it. I definitely wasn't mad at it because we knew that certain things would change.
That's very close.
Yeah, it was definitely very close how they actually did it. But I loved how they did that. I loved how they tackled it. And the simple fact that we did get the montage that we got, like just the training montage between her and the Hulk. And finally, we got the situation fixed with that arm. So it looks like they are going straight ahead and course correcting with certain situations when it comes to the Hulk and the iteration that we got. So I'm hoping that they continue on with that.
Sorry, Russos.
That's one thing that
I didn't like that.
That I have an issue with.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
But it's not the fault of this show that they handled it in a way that they could, right?
Yeah,
but
that they had.
I'm better than you.
The thing is,
already.
What they did was they completely, we talk about like nerfing characters and powers and stuff all the time. They have made a mockery of certain characters in general, but his healing factor. His healing factor
is better than Wolverine.
He's literally had the explosions blow the flesh and melt the flesh off of his bones.
Yep.
And he's regenerated in the comics in minutes.
We know.
I'm not saying you got to go that far, but the point is, it's like you said, is the Infinity Stone? Come on, his arm should have healed on its own.
Yep. I
And the
agree.
fact that but then when he was at the end of Shang-Chi, he was in the sling. So it hadn't healed. Now, to me, it's like, okay, if you were gonna have him back to full strength and his arm healed, why not just say he healed? It was his healing factor,
Yes.
and not
Yep.
have him in the sling at the end of Shang-Chi, so that they would have to figure out a way to then heal his arm in the show, because it wasn't the show's fault. It should have been handled before that. But it's like, that was one thing that I was like, man, you guys have basically just completely destroyed his healing factor. Like, that's a big part of the Hulk. So that's my only gripe. I love the episode, and like I said, it wasn't the fault of this show. It was just something that carried over from Endgame and then Shang-Chi that I didn't like.
Yeah.
But
There's about three things for me.
It is one of the downsides of the show. Like, it's almost like they felt like they had to bring him down to her level, as opposed to show that. It's in the comics, as we all know, like, Hulk is, almost 100 times stronger than She-Hulk. It's just, you're not going to show it be that big of a gap. But him needing, the accident between them to heal his arm, as opposed to his arm just healing over time, or him needing to get really bad for it to heal faster, or for them needing her becoming She-Hulk as a plot device to heal his arm is pretty wild. And then there was definitely, for me, one of the very few negatives of the show was there were sequences throughout the episode where Hulk was still not like the Hulk that we all know. Like, I mean, we all know what he's capable of, and we've even seen him be capable of, incredible feats in the actual films. And to see him like get ran over by a Jeep, the Hulk run over by a Jeep, come on. There's some tough pills to swallow in the show.
I was about to touch on that.
We saw him heal from stuff better in the Ed Norton movie than in this. And
exactly.
Like DT Artman in the chat, it's like they've stated this is a different universe in the comics. Like, we all know that. We all know. Although Feige is now trying to say it's 616, but like we all understand that. Yeah. That, like, we're not saying that they have to do one-to-one adaptations.
No one expects
he talks about it.
Immortal Hulk here.
Yeah, it's something that is not like, it's not in keeping with what we all know and love about the core of the character, and that his ability to heal and overcome these things is a big part of the character. And we saw that in the Ed Norton movie, which technically is still canon. They just don't acknowledge, like, showing anything that much from it because of,
and yes, he's
Ed
weaker as Smart Hulk, but not weaker.
He talked about it.
That's
But the thing that bothers me about that scene is to see him go from using 2 Humvees as boxing gloves, right? 2 Hummers as boxing gloves.
Run over
they get
by
pushed out of a garage by a Jeep Wrangler. Like, what?
Now, granted,
wait.
Tongue-in-cheek comment. Obviously,
that turned me off.
But he was punches. He wasn't trying to hurt his Jeep, and he wasn't trying to hurt.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm taking all those things into consideration. It's a tongue-in-cheek comment. Obviously, they want. My point is that it's almost like Hulk has become the let's show how strong somebody else's punching bag. Let's show how strong
Hulk. Right.
But it's like there's so many different ways you can show how badass She-Hulk is without using him.
And even
wait. So here's my thing. Here's my thing. I wanted to say this real quick because I'm hearing this and I get it. But here's the thing. We are, and just hear me out real quick. I'm sorry, man, because
this isn't going to be a shit on the show. I love the show.
Hear me out real quick.
Only mine are great.
Hear me out. What I'm saying is, we would have been having a totally different conversation if they would have never addressed any of the issues, period. Okay. So what I mean by this is, if they kept him in the sling the entire show, if they didn't basically show that he was able to heal, if we didn't get hints that going forward, there was a narrative to be changed. And the thing is, they are taking steps to change that, slow steps. But the thing is, keep in mind that everything that we actually seen from the Hulk was the Savage Hulk that we know, not Smart Hulk. it was the Savage Hulk that we actually know. This right now is the smart Hulk that we are seeing right now, which eventually I think is going to change. We are 3 months.
I'm hoping.
We are a few months away from, and again, this is something that has been specified, and it is basically on earlier trades, and it is going to come out. They're just kind of keeping it quiet right now. That in 3 months, 3 to 4 months, I believe, Marvel will have full control of the Hulk. In 3 to 4 months, they're waiting, but they're going to have full control of the Hulk to do exactly what they want. It's just like right now, a lot of this shit is hush. But what I'm saying is they are taking steps. They are taking steps to basically make the changes. Right now, they are starting with the simple fact that, okay, we're looking at the simple fact that they made the change to his arm. However they did it, I'm just glad that they did it, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, just keep this in mind. But he is dealing, one second, let me finish here. He's dealing with the simple fact that right now, he's training his cousin. So I guess, again, he's going to be holding back. He was holding back the entire time doing the show because, again, he didn't want to elude as much. He didn't want to show full strength, full potential. We did see hints because, like he said, he wanted to show her how it's really done, but he was holding back.
I mean, a lot of what he's doing right now out of the sky
exactly,
and into space.
And it exploded.
We
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we know his full potential. Right now, he is holding back. So he is nerfing himself, basically trying to show her fullest potential. So we have to kind of wait. Again, I don't think that we're going to see the Hulk going forward for a while in this show for a minute because they just wanted to get that out of the way.
I hope so. I hope they just let
everything else that he has to deal with right now. So again, when we're talking about these things, we have to keep in mind they have to find a way to course correct based on what the fucking Russo brothers did. And this is why I don't, me myself personally, I everybody else is a fan. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but I don't want them to touch another MCU property. In my opinion, I don't, because it shows me that what they're willing to do is take certain characters and completely fucking forget about it. Because there's two characters that I didn't like what they did with those characters. Number one was was him and Black Widow. I didn't like it. I didn't like what they chose to do with those characters because Black Widow is just as important to the MCU as any other female character there. She's highly important. Probably one of the first. She's important. So to kill her off the way that they did and not bring her back, that to me is a fucking misstep. But again, we'll talk about that later on another time. We're talking about She-Hulk. My point is they're finding ways to course correct based on the dumpster fire and fuck bullshit that was done with the Russos. So I think that, again, I understand everybody's, gripes with that particular moment. But I just think that we have to wait and take in what we are getting. We are getting a slow burn, slow course correct. This is what they're basically trying to do. And I think that we are going to actually see it. I just think that we have to give it a little bit more time.
I think you're right. I think they have to course correct that because you have to have him full powered for Secret Wars.
Yes.
Like you have to. You absolutely have to.
You have to.
So
he would get destroyed in the state that he's in right now.
Yeah,
but see,
but that's
what Brendan was talking about
is just like one little hiccup that it's frustrating because I did like some of the stuff that they did with Smart Hulk in Endgame because I felt like it made sense because for the story. But I was also hoping that they would get back to more old school Hulk, or at least have Smart Hulk also be strong. Like Smart Hulk isn't a chump. Smart Hulk isn't like just the Beast or somebody. He's still,
Smart Hulk in the comics is stronger than Professor Hulk in the MCU.
Right. So it's like, is there something that gets them calling him Professor Hulk like he is in the comics? Like this whole Smart Hulk shit, like it annoys me. Like in the comics, he's Professor Hulk, and he's still strong as hell.
They can't do it.
There's
a lot that they can't. Here's the thing. Keep this in mind. We're not just getting Namor and the Hulk in the MCU for no particular reason. Again, there's a slow transition that's taking place right now. We just have to wait and see. We have to wait for everything to happen, so then we can move forward and have the right. Because that's the same thing that actually happened with Wanda. We weren't able to call her Scarlet Witch until we had the rights to do so. You feel me? So it's a waiting period right now. So there's a lot that they can't say. Put it that way.
No, it was something that was something about earlier about the whole arm thing. Like that really bothered me, right? For the fact that we all know, we all 4 of the comic book world, we all know like Hulk's killing factor is like 10 times better than Wolverine's, and Wolverine's is off the chain. So it's like you had to get her blood to make you heal. And then when she automatically said, "Oh, that means I'm better than you," I was like, "Damn!" They didn't hold back like 5 seconds after she got her power. She's like, "Oh, I'm better than you." I know it was her
But that's-
on the snark remark.
But
at her
that's a
cousin.
family
And
dynamic. That's
yeah,
cousins.
that's
like
what I said.
busting
That's what I'm
balls.
saying.
But also,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't
that's what
that
I'm
she
saying.
was stronger. It was that there was something in her genetics that made it
Yes,
possible.
that
It wasn't
made him
like
heal.
she was more
Right.
powerful. They
Well,
weren't trying to say like
Right.
change levels and bring them to equal.
Right.
That was just more like family banter, man.
And that's
That-
always been a back and forth
Now-
between
now-
them, even in
exactly.
the
Yep.
comics.
Yeah.
Plus, I doubt that they'll delve
Right.
into it in the show, but the dynamic, like that Immortal Hulk and other different stories have brought forth from
Yeah.
like Hulk's
Yeah.
legacy. Is
Yeah.
that part of that
Yeah.
transition to the Hulk has to deal with your past and your history. So part of who she is as
Yeah.
a person was able to make her
Right.
become like more beautiful, strong woman archetype,
Right.
having that Hulk blood in her system, as opposed to when Banner had it manifested from like a kind of like
beast.
similar to Moon Knight, but a split personality that he had from when he was abused as a kid. They kind of
Yeah.
never really
I
dove
know that
into
too.
that, until recently with the comics, and that's part of why that's what happens to him when he becomes a Hulk. That's part of why Leader becomes super smart when he gets the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different
Yeah.
people differently based on what's in their psyche. So that is
Now-
so it's not just so much that she's better, but they don't know. Like, so that's just what she assumes because she's able to control it. It's just that there's different shit in her mind going on than it is with Bruce. They also didn't really explain so much that it's the DNA structure why she was even able to like have taken it. Because when Bruce gave her his blood back in the comics, like for all he knew, it would have killed her. She was gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just something with their DNA structure that they're able to receive that gamma radiated blood and become something more instead of it being lethal.
Yeah. I really.
So,
Go ahead,
so-
go ahead.
Here's the thing I want to address real quick. Again, with 1/6 Shooter, not saying that they didn't basically create arguably two of the best films. They did, but at the sacrifice and at the cost of belittling two
of your
important
strongest
characters.
people.
The
Two
Russos made
important
4
characters.
MCU films that I absolutely love,
Yeah,
but they weren't.
Right.
That's not to say that they don't have areas where
Influence.
they need criticism.
Yeah.
That's not to say
Yeah.
they're perfect.
Yeah.
I
They're definitely
love
not.
Yeah.
those movies, but
Yeah.
I don't like the way that they
Definitely
they
a
did
lot
the
of
Hulk in those.
mistakes.
But I can say I'm not saying fuck the Russos. I hate them. I love what they contributed to the
Me too.
MCU. I think they
Yeah.
were big architects in that.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
But
they
we can
did.
also say that
You
we
You
can
hate what they
love
done to
something
some
that
of the
they did.
characters. Yeah.
And the thing
yeah.
is, and they couldn't basically give us a full explanation. They didn't give a solid explanation as to why they did it. They just said, well, he's the strongest, so we had to nerf him. That's basically what they were saying.
They literally
That's
said
what
that.
they're saying.
They
Oh,
literally
right.
said that. And I'm
They
like,
literally
really?
said-
Are you serious?
Lael didn't say that
Yep.
that the Russo brothers movies were dumpster fires. They said what they did to the Hulk was a dumpster fire.
Was a dumpster
the rest of the
fire
characters.
movies,
Yeah.
I,
Yes.
I'm on board with.
Yes.
But the way they dealt
Yeah.
with certain characters, like he mentioned Black Widow and he mentioned Hulk. That's what he was saying was a
Yeah.
dumpster fire. We're not saying that the Russos' contributions to the MCU were dumpster fire. They did a great job with
Yeah.
the Winter
Mm.
Soldier might be my favorite MCU movie.
It's like the Empire Strikes Back of
Yeah.
that trilogy of the MCU. So I love that. The problem is that
Yeah.
with Endgame, with first of all with an Infinity War, and then with Endgame, what you basically did was the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's like you completely. But here's the thing. My biggest problem is how they approach it. And I don't want to stick around this for too long because I want to move on with the show. My biggest problem is the simple fact that they fucking teased us. They teased us with a fake fucking trailer having a Hulk there.
Oh, yeah, for
Wakanda.
Endgame. Yeah. yeah.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Infinity War.
With
yeah.
Hawk and
And
Wakanda.
then
Yeah, that
changed
pissed me
that.
off.
And that
Yeah.
pissed me off because you did that. And I'm
It was
like,
definitely
wow.
a misdirect.
So you
Vinny
it was
didn't have to worry about
Couldn't
that.
happen to me.
yeah, it didn't happen to you, but this is a simple fact that they did that. So it's like, yo, they made the choice to do that with this particular character the whole way through, knowing that everybody wanted to see the Hulk at his fullest potential.
Yeah.
Because
The
that's
last-
how we-
Yeah.
The last thing
Yeah.
I
That
just want to
really
say on
admit-
that is that I think the Russo brothers, again, I think they're crazy talented. I think they did a great job. They're very good storytellers. But when you say something like this is just a criticism for I still love everything that they've done beyond this, but when you say that the Hulk is too strong and we have to do this to him because he'd be too strong and we wouldn't be able to do this movie, there are roughly 60-year anniversary right now actually of comics where they have had the Hulk at his peak, but has had really good runs, okay, where he's part of these big storylines, and it's not like, oh, well, he just wins and then the movie's over. So saying that, well, he's just too strong and we wouldn't be able to make this movie, I think shows a lack of understanding of decades of comic book artists and great writing that they've done with that character in the last 60 years. Yeah. And I think that comic book fans like myself personally, I think are more annoyed at the fact that they could have taken a little bit more time. And I think they, given their talent and the material from which they could pull, I think they could have done Hulk better in the context of the Infinity Saga that they told in the MCU.
Yeah.
I think they just, way better. This is one area where I think they kind of took the easy way out.
I think in the Infinity Saga, that's the one that made sense because they needed, from day one, I always said that they need Thanos to, when he debuts on screen, he needs to do something drastic to show how powerful he is, and Hulk or Iron Man would be the best way to do that. And him showing up and beating Hulk so easily, it showed the viewers at home just how powerful he was, because if he would have done that to anyone else, it would have been like, okay, well, they'll get it back. But him doing that to Hulk scared people. The actual, regular fans who don't know anything, like, shit, if he could do that to Hulk, how the hell are they going to stop him? And then if they would have had Hulk come back in Endgame and, like, have a big, like, fight, it's like you would have either had Hulk had to win or Hulk would have lost twice. And you didn't want him to lose twice, and you didn't want that to be how Thanos lost. So writing him out or kind of nerfing it was a tough decision, but it kind of made sense in that instance. In every other aspect, though, it falls into the far too often trope that we see in comic films where this character is power scaled up and we don't know what to do, how to make the story interesting. So instead of making a villain that's as strong as or stronger than our hero, we knock him down, weak. We make him lose his powers. We make him lose his, his special abilities. We make him lose his money if it's Iron Man. Instead of making the villain more dangerous, you always, it's so, like, how many times have we seen Wolverine lose his powers, Iron Man loses armor, Spider-Man loses powers? Instead of showing Doc Ock or Silver Surfer or whoever stronger, like, it's almost like they're afraid to, like, show how strong the villains are, because then they feel like that's a harder way to write around than just taking away the powers of the hero, so that way you can show that they're a hero because what's inside, not their powers.
And see, the thing that I really, really hated about the MC or about the Infinity War, and though it was good, the problem that I have is that we've known throughout the entire comic, especially Hulk's entire comic run, it wasn't the other way around. It wasn't Banner dealing with the simple fact that he was, in a sense, coming to terms, with the Hulk itself in that way. We've known him basically throughout the entire run of comics that he was trying to get rid of that persona.
Rid of the Hulk, right?
Exactly. But we also know, or we know, that Hulk's whole purpose was to keep that Banner persona completely, out of existence. If he could have took it out of existence, he would have, because he always felt as though that was the weakest point of who he really was, and always held him back.
Yeah.
What they did to him in Infinity War was Banner taking full control, trying to change, and the Hulk saying no.
Hulk
has never been pussy like that. Never been pussy like that. Never been pussy.
Yeah, like he was scared of Thanos.
Exactly. It made absolutely no sense to do that to him. But I guess in the context, that's what they wanted to do. And I would have accepted that if there would have been a redemption. Exactly. If there would have been some type of redemption. But
they had also had Hulk stay in control for like 2 years in Ragnarok, right? So why wouldn't the Hulk say, all right, screw you, Banner, I'm taking over again, and this time I'm not giving it back, right? And I'm just going to keep it full on. Like, instead of, like, saying, no, I'm not going to come out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a problem, but yeah. All right. We'll talk about She-Hulk Love because it was a great show.
It was a great show. So
now,
back to She-Hulk, and this is basically where I'm at right now. I want to focus plainly on She-Hulk because again, this is where we're at. The show was incredible. The first episode was incredible. There was no doubt in my mind that it wasn't going to be a good show. And I think number one, I want to address Tiana. I want to address the actress. What is her name? Tiana Maslany?
Maslany, yeah.
Is it
Tatiana? It's like Tatiana Maslany.
Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, Tatiana Maslany.
Yo, she, number one, if you haven't seen Orphan Black, come on, man. Like, literally incredible actress. Her range is phenomenal. She bounces between characters like it's nothing. I cannot already, just the first episode already, the MCU casting directors, whoever she is and whoever this woman is, knows exactly how to pick them. Because I cannot imagine anybody else being Jennifer Walters right now. I can't. I can't. She's killing it. Like, she is killing it so far with this first episode. She's believable. And even like the speech that she basically made, it wasn't forced because actually it was true. Everything that she basically said about when she talked about, because the thing is, you have to realize when he's wanting to know how she's dealing with the persona, like being angry and stuff like that. She's talking about what, from a woman's level, what she's basically had to deal with, because these are truths and why. And again, women go through this on a daily basis. So everything that she said at that point was true, and how she delivered it was incredible. She's an amazing actress. I welcome her as She-Hulk. She's phenomenal, and she kills the part so far. What were you gonna say
about that part? I loved it. Like, she did. I had like 3 little gripes. Other than that, the show was good. I loved the show. I went in with no expectations, and I thought it was great. Okay, but it had 3 little things that, one with the arm. Now, that speech she gave, like, I felt that. I got girls, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But she talking to Bruce, right? So you're talking to a guy that his dad used to beat the hell out of him every day. His dad killed his mom. He's trying to commit suicide plenty of times to get rid of the Hulk, and he lost Natasha, the woman that he loved, and he lost, and then half his friends got bleeped away. So you're talking to a guy that has to control that kind of rage every day. I understand that catcalling is whack. I hate it. You know what I'm saying? I understand what she's going through, what she's saying about trying to explain her job, which is whack. We don't even have to do that kind of bullshit. But it's like, you're talking to a dude that has gone through even more. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think he was looking at her like, I understand what you're saying, but you're still getting angry. You just changed right in front of me. But other than that, it was like, yo, you got to understand from Hulk's perspective too. Like, yo, my dad killed my mother. You know what I'm saying? I lost the love of my life to sacrifice herself to save the universe, right? Then I tried to kill the Hulk. I tried to commit suicide. Like, I don't know how many times in the comics trying to get rid of the Hulk. So it's like, I that part, I was like, oh, okay, I see what she's saying, but it's like, yo, look who you talking to. You know what I mean? Even though he's been nerfed down, and it's not the Hulk that we know from the comics, it's like still, but he's still been through all those things, all those abuses, all those things that he has to control on the regular, every day, every second. If not, the Earth is freaking doomed if Hulk can't control himself. Right. So it's like, her speech was deep. And I, the way she acted it out was, she killed it. She killed it. But you're talking to the incredible freaking Hulk, right? He got his powers from rage and abuse, from years of rage and abuse. So it's like, I understand your argument, sister, but it's like, I think
we're just reading a little too deep into that though, because people have, like, yes, everybody has their own, like, events, traumas in their lives and stuff like that. I think she was just talking about more like, as a female from birth, she has basically been dealing with a certain amount of stressors in her life that men cannot relate to. And so it's just I don't think she was trying to say that she's had more trauma in her life than him or something. I think she was just trying to say that
No, I don't think she's trying
oftentimes
to weigh
you
it
don't
out.
recognize that
Yeah.
I meaning her, have grown up with a certain amount of stress added onto my existence on a daily basis that you
Period.
haven't really recognized before. So it's been part of my just life since birth, ingrained in just learning how to deal with those things. I don't think she was trying to make a, my pain is greater than your pain kind of comparison, though.
But it was some well-rounded to her character, and as opposed to her just being perfect, because it was pretty smug and pretty arrogant to just say, "Here, I have this power now to like level a city in one punch, and I'm just not even going to listen to you trying to explain to me how careful I have to be." She just wanted to get out of there and just work, and it was kind of dismissive of, here's somebody who's like accidentally killed people because of his powers. This isn't somebody who's like. This isn't somebody who's like military trained and to be has to be killed if they get in a fight with a regular civilian who doesn't have those kind of training. This is someone who.
That's what I'm saying about that situation.
And that goes back to the Registration Act, the Sokovia Accords, and like a whole bunch of other stuff that superheroes in this world have to deal with. So it was like it was in a way. It was twofold. It was really a smart way of her perspective.
She was major dismissive to his training, like
right. But at the same time, it was kind of bratty, because she wasn't like paying him any mind, and that's why you see her eventually come around and like, fine, all right, what do I do? Like she
right.
Saying, oh, I can't wait to be a hero. Like, teach me. It was showing growth in her too, because she realized like, all right, I'm going to swallow my pride here and listen to my cousin because they're bickering. So it's kind of like if it was maybe Cap telling her, you have to like, let's work on this for a couple of days or something before you go back to work, like nothing happened. But it being Bruce and family, she was like more resistant to it because she just didn't want to hear it coming from him. So I like that there was a little bit of arrogance and smugness there that she had to overcome, so that way she could go about her business and be in control. And then you've seen that pay off with the with the end of the episode and the hearing, because this was about her case was about somebody who didn't use their powers when they could have to help someone. So it was,
you could tell
there was levels to it.
He was really trying to help her, bro.
Absolutely.
He's really trying to help her. He already feels guilty about her even having his blood in her system.
Yeah.
So it was like he's really trying to like.
Part of it was her arrogance, but there was also part of it was she was still in denial about her situation because she doesn't she's different so far than pretty much everybody else we've seen in the MCU, in that most of the people that we've seen get powers in the MCU have then embraced it, either for good or for bad, but they steer into it, whereas she's like, no, I don't want to be a Hulk. I don't like, you say that I'm a superhero because I got Hulk blood in me now. I don't want to be a superhero. And we're just coming fresh off something like Ms. Marvel, where this girl is so excited to be a superhero. Now we've got the other side of it where Jen here doesn't want to be a superhero. So there are a lot of layers to like the interaction that she has with Bruce. Part of it is that family banter and rivalry. Part of it is some arrogance, which stems from that kind of relationship she's got with him. And then the other part of it is that she doesn't want to be a superhero. She wants to be a lawyer. She wants to do things her way. And it's going to take some time for her to figure out how to strike that balance, just like it did in the comics for her. So I thought that was was very, very true to the character, at least for this first episode.
And you know what I like about her too, bro? It's like she's not her power. She's not like Captain Marvel. So she reminds me of like a Sigourney Weaver lead female action hero, or my girlfriend. I keep forgetting her name. Oh my god, from Terminator.
Linda Hamilton.
My god, Linda Hamilton. You know how smooth they were back in the day when they were leads, bro. Like, I love that about.
I think that's what's interesting about her character. She's not trying to go out and listen to her to see what she can, trouble she can get into. Okay,
She's so natural with it, bro.
So that's what's
Yeah,
interesting. Kind of like Jessica Jones, how she has powers, but she's not really trying
right.
to.
Jessica Jones the same way. Yeah, yeah. She's not like Captain Marvel, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is with She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters is
Mm.
a lot of her pushback and reserve is because she's more focused on the simple fact that she's, and again, in the book,
A
in the
lawyer.
books, we know that before she even became a
Mhm.
major lawyer, before she even actually took on major cases, she had just passed the bar. So she was only taking on a
Just
few
past the bar,
cases,
yeah.
minor cases, before she became who we know now as Jennifer Walters She-Hulk. So a lot of what she's really dealing with at the moment is based on the simple fact that she is dealing with a female, in a corporate world, especially being a female lawyer, where right now even female lawyers today aren't even taken serious. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, true,
she's
true.
dealing with that particular aspect of it. She's more focused on being a lawyer, less on being a hero, but thrusted into situations where she has to be a hero. Even if you look at it right now, for instance, I'll give you an example. There was a portion in comics where she was called to testify against Star Fox. Reason why is because Star Fox at one point had used his powers on her, but not in a way that she basically thought. Of course, we know that Star Fox has the power to elude pheromones. Yeah, I have that book where she basically eludes pheromones to basically make females. That's how he got a lot of females in a sense.
Yeah.
So basically, she was
Star Fox is
called.
a beast.
Yeah, so she was called on to be part of an actual trial, to where she had to testify, which she didn't want. She didn't want to, and she wanted to deny herself or deny it, but then was instructed by the living tribunal to do it. At that particular point, because again, she's not just a lawyer, but being a superpowered individual, she's also instructed to be an official by the living tribunal. So here's the thing: is it's like when you look at all of this, at her aspect and from her standpoint, all she wants to do is be a fucking lawyer, plain and simple. If she never had to be a hero, she wouldn't want to, or she didn't have to, or wouldn't want to be, but she's thrusted in that because of circumstances. So we're seeing that. And I like how, again, the conversation between her, even when he said, when they were fighting, he said, why don't you want to basically take, at least listen to somebody who's lived through this, who's been through this and had to deal with these powers. And him saying that once they fought, I think that more so, again, even though she has a greater hold as far as the personality transition than he did, the anger aspect is still what he's trying to tap into to make her realize that one false mistake can cost a lot. And I think that her coming down and really realizing that, exactly, and that's the whole aspect. And I love that psychological aspect is they will call you a monster and they won't. And we've seen that plenty of times in comics. So
and it'd be worse
I really
for
love
her.
that. Yeah.
It'd be worse for her than for him, because
that's my point.
If she loses it, if she loses it, then it and kills people or destroys a city or something. She had he's got quote unquote like an excuse that she doesn't, and that he loses control to the alter ego. For her, there is no alter ego. So it's just a matter of, does her own rage then manifest and she destroys something? Because if she loses it, it's really on her. Versus, even though Banner would feel guilt, he's not in the driver's seat if the Hulk takes over. So it's that she's got to come to grips with the magnitude of her power, because if she fucks up, it's going to be 100% on her, not an alter ego that she lost control to.
I just love how she reminds me of the 80s heroines. That's the way it's just. And it's not overdoing it. She's still a lady, but she will kick your ass. I love that. It's a natural feel to it. It's so natural. And then with like I said with Bruce,
please don't bring up
when
Captain
she
Marvel.
turned,
All right.
you can see his guilt. You can see the guilt that he has. Like he really wants to try to make sure he does the right things for her and her training. And I don't know. I feel bad. I feel bad for Bruce, bro. It's now he got to take on another burden. Like, damn, I poisoned my cousin now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like what else is going to happen to me in this crazy life of mine? But I love her as She-Hulk, bro. I do,
love
man.
what I
She's
really love is the
gonna kill it
chemistry between them two.
with
The
them too.
chemistry between both of them is perfect. It's perfect chemistry. Two people who are believable, that you believe that they are basically relatives. And I love that aspect of it. I love the simple fact that they already you see that chemistry, which I would, to be quite honest, in my opinion, I know it won't serve the narrative because we have to mainly focus on these two. But I would love to basically see a film or see basically a montage, even with the Avengers, when it's just them two. Them two basically having back and forth, dealing with that power
Together.
scale. Because
Oh yeah,
here's the thing,
yeah.
though. This is a dope setup because it's going to come a place, and I believe this. I honestly, firmly believe this. There's going to come a time that we know that we're going to get the Savage Rageful, probably even a World Breaker Hulk. And I think it's going to break her heart because she's going to have to be the one to try to help talk him down, like literally. And I love the simple fact that stop him and make a choice. And on top of that, knowing that she could die because there's no way to fucking stop him. And I think that again, so dealing with that dynamic and just seeing that that's something that could come, I'm so excited about it because finally we're going to see what we have wanted to see for the longest time. And to have that happen, I'm just really the first, and the thing is, this is just the first show. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Episode 2 is the real test because the chemistry between them was the core of this first episode. But now she's got to take it and run with it herself.
And to that point, though, I think
it's going to work, bro.
Whatever anybody says about the things that they've done with Hulk, I don't think Mark Ruffalo gets enough credit for just how incredible that he has been over the course of his run as the Hulk. I think he's been phenomenal, and he's had so many different.
I think he's been patient too.
Types of Hulk, and you talk about chemistry with Jennifer. He's had chemistry with Cap. He's had chemistry with Tony. With Thor. Like he's been an incredible staple, and he's just been knocking it out of the park ever since. So it was really cool seeing him get a chance to shine in this first episode. But obviously, going forward, we're not going to probably see as much or any more of Mark, and we're gonna, she's going to be, sink or swim.
Yeah.
They have said that they have said there are going to be a lot of cameos in this show.
Oh wait, Hulk. Or just cameos, period?
No, not Hulk.
Or just, not just with the Hulk,
there's going to be a lot
other,
of character cameos in this show.
Okay.
Part of that could be because remember, like people have been talking about, and I don't think this is actually going to happen. I don't think they would do it, especially when they've got the full movie coming up at some point. Yeah. But people have been talking about, like, in the comics, she's defended a number of characters like Ben Grimm, and there are rumors that Ben Grimm was going to be using her services as a lawyer. And there was a rumor again that it's not confirmed. I highly doubt it. So don't go nuts about that. But that's a possibility. But one thing that we got to remember too, there are going to be a lot of cameos in this, but each of those cameos, each of those characters are going to have to fit the vibe and the style and the tone of this show. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. One of the things that really kind of went nuts was when the showrunner was talking about Daredevil in this, and people were like, "Oh my God, they're gonna make Daredevil goofy and silly and stuff, and it's gonna ruin him and stuff." No. All right. First off, you gotta recognize if you're a longtime comics reader, then that characters cross over from one book to the next, and they have to fit the tone and the style of that book. All right, Daredevil has been in She-Hulk comics before,
plenty of times,
and he fit the tone of that book. But you could still have the Frank Miller stuff. You could still have the Ed Brubaker and Bendis stuff, right? So just because a character will come in, that they're not going to be telling stand-up comedy jokes, right? It's not going to be that, but he can fit a lighter. All right, there have been plenty of Daredevil and Spidey team-ups where it was lighter in tone, and that doesn't mean we're not going to get something really cool down the road in his own show and Echo and other stuff like that. Same thing with any other characters that show up on this show. Okay.
Yeah.
Comedy is built into comics. Okay. It's part and parcel. It's always been there. So there will be lighter moments. And if we have an episode and Daredevil is in it and it's a funnier episode, That's okay. All right, like people
Mhm.
don't shit a brick over that. Okay, if
You
another
gotta go with the vibe of
if
the show.
another character comes in, if Bucky comes in and it's a lighthearted episode or this, like, relax. Okay, like we got to remember that they have to fit the tone of what they're in, just like they do in the comics, but then they can also go right back to their comics and be perfectly fine. Every character has run that spectrum throughout the comic books, and the same thing applies to this. Me personally, I can say that given the fact that they're bringing in a lot of these younger characters and stuff, and maybe a young Avengers, or given the tone of this show, the
Created a
comedic
monster, bro.
and the comedic talents of some of these characters,
Look what you did
I
to
would
my
love
daughter.
a Kate Bishop or why am I blanking on her name? Kate Bishop or Natasha's sister,
Yelena.
Yelena.
Yelena,
So
yeah.
Yelena or Kate Bishop,
Mhm.
I think they would be a really cool fit for an episode in
Look
here
what y'all
with She-Hulk.
did to my daughter.
Did you like the fight with Tatiana or whatever? What's her name? Titanica or Tiana, whatever her name.
Titania. Look what
I wanna
y'all
see
did
Titania.
to my daughter.
She like she was on
Right.
strings, but I wish that fight would have lasted
She knows
longer.
what's up.
Can't believe what y'all did to my daughter.
Why? Because she knows how amazing Daredevil is?
What's
Like
wrong with that?
she's a super
They
Daredevil.
gotta do that,
literally
bro.
Is literally
They have to
she
have
was over.
Daredevil and Spider-Man.
She was in here.
together,
She
bro.
was here yesterday, and she was like, Daredevil is her favorite character of all time. Like,
Oh, that's
she
Brendan's
loved
fault.
That's right. Come on. Get
Daredevil,
it.
bro.
She's got to be reading the books. She's got to be reading the books. You got to get her into it, man.
She
That's
literally
Brendan's fault.
loves Daredevil, man.
I love when he crosses over with Spider-Man, bro, in the books. Oh my god, that's my favorite. I got like.
Well, I'm also really looking
Got a
forward to
couple of
that
them
in general,
books.
and I think that She-Hulk can be a kind of a bridge with that too. Like, yes, she's crazy powerful, but I do want to see personally more of the street level side of
The
things.
street level,
we've seen the cosmic, we've seen that galactic, that massive. The Earth is at stake. I want to see the more intimate stories, the street level. Like, this isn't about saving the planet, but this is about beating a bad guy. This is about doing
being a
what's
bad guy
right.
in the street.
And She-Hulk has always been a part, as much as she like is crazy powerful and has been on the Avengers and stuff like that. Remember, like, she's also been defending heroes in court and stuff. She also kind of bridges those two divides, and so I think that having her in there, I think we could see some cool stuff with Spidey, with Daredevil, with other street level characters. Because I really want to see more of that aspect of the MCU explored. Jessica Jones, another one.
Let me ask on the fly
what I'm
question.
going to see in a second. What I'm going to see here pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised if I just magically show up over Vinny's house and he's outside with a campfire and some books in a Jedi robe, and my daughter's sitting across from him with a robe, and he's just teaching her with a chalkboard, like, okay, so this is what you need.
This is this.
Look
for this here.
The sacred text.
Sacred text.
Like, he's gonna give her the keys to the kingdom, and I ain't never been in that book. No, I've been in that room. But
that's hilarious.
Be surprised. It's gonna be some funny shit. But definitely, man. Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
You think we're gonna have like a crazy end credit scene with like Ross getting some of the Hulk's blood somehow?
I don't.
Because in the preview, they showed a vial.
There, unless there was some earlier. I don't think so. Because the thing is,
no, they're not going to.
I don't think they're going to go that route, considering the simple fact that he's, I guess, we got to know William Hurt, passed away.
They're either gonna they are doing a Thunderbolts movie. They're either going to do it almost as like this was like Project Thunderbolt or something, and that's what the name was, so they keep it and they call it Thunderbolts, right? And
use
it's an homage to him, or they recast Thunderbolt Ross. So
I think they're going to use
we not even have no Red Hawk at all, not even the Betty Ross Red Hawk. None of that.
We may. It's not to say that we won't, but I just think that if anything, right now they're leaning more towards Val. I think they're going to release. Val is going to basically play more of an intricate role
She's
when it
gonna
comes
be
to
in
that.
Thunderbolts.
Especially, I think she's
leader.
going to take that particular role. As far
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I hope not. It's probably the
Betty
most
Ross,
annoying MCU character that's ever happened.
what'd you say?
I hope not. She's annoying as shit.
As far as a
So
Betty
Battle
Ross,
Talova.
as far as a Betty Ross, I don't know
Mhm.
if we're going to actually. Again, we could, but I think that again, the reason why we didn't
That'd be
see
so
a
dope.
Betty Ross in the MCU's version right now. Now we did see her
Mhm.
in What If, but we didn't actually
What
see
If,
a
yeah.
Betty Ross in the MCU, in live action, is because again, we still got to wait a couple months because that's too much. That would be too much,
Mhm.
for a licensed character that MCU doesn't
Even for
own
like
yet.
an end credit.
Well,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
It'd be too much
they
to
could
think.
have used her character. I think it wasn't that. I think they could have used her character, but it was also that they were
Mhm.
kind of completely like distancing from that original Hulk movie,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because they can use Abomination too, and I don't think it was that they
Mhm.
couldn't use Betty Ross. I think it was that they came up with the romance, the
I think it was just
relationship
easier
between him and Natasha,
because she was already on
and
the
they
team.
want
Made
to
it
bring
easier.
in Betty
Okay.
Ross because they wanted
I
to
didn't
be
know
able to sell that relationship.
Yeah, I think
Mikey Lito,
Oh, okay.
Mikey Lito, that's the best way to do it. Keep all
Yeah,
expectations
me
low.
too.
So when you go into
Yeah.
each episode, you'll be surprised. So I'm right there with you, bro. I
Yeah.
kept my
That's what I did with
expectations
the first
really low
episode, bro.
and went
Yep.
in, and I was pleasantly
That's what I
surprised.
did.
And I cannot wait till Wednesday
Mhm.
comes or Thursday comes. Put
Thursday.
it that way,
Yeah.
because it's
Thursday,
going to be
yeah.
incredible.
What
But
about switch to Thursdays? That was weird. I was expecting it on
I know, dude. I got up Wednesday all excited to watch the episode, and then I was like,
I
"Ah,
thought it was gonna
shit,
be on
it's
Wednesday
tomorrow."
too.
Yep.
yeah,
That threw
I
me
thought the
off.
same thing, bro.
I
thought it was
went
gonna be
back
on
and checked
Wednesday.
it. But speaking of Titania, because it was a lot of people that were sort of complaining about the look of the character.
It was pretty cheesy, bro.
Mhm.
It was definitely cheesy, but there were certain
Really cheesy,
aspects
bro.
of Titania that they gave her, especially with the outfit, with the spikes on the shoulder pads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They gave her.
Spike. Yeah.
Who knows what it's going to actually serve going forward?
It's
I
not
don't.
like she looked
Mhm.
super cool in the comics. Like
Yeah.
she looked pretty cheesy there too. So.
Yeah, I know, bro.
It's almost like
like
Wrecking Crew level of character design there.
Yeah.
And then
Definitely,
that flying sidekick was just cheesy, bro. Like I want She-Hulk to beat her ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think
She
we're
could
going
have
to
low
see a host.
or something.
We're going to see a host of different characters. She's not going to be the only one that we see. I think it's just the narrative that they're trying to serve, and it's bringing that because we know that pretty much a lot of dealings that she had with characters, Titania was majorly one that we've actually seen. Yeah, that we actually seen. So of course, even Titania's relationship with Molecule Man, which I wouldn't be, again, it's like the setup is incredible. So I mean, who knows where this is going to go into it, but I mean, the character was, again, the outfit, I mean, they could have did something totally different, but I understand.
Horrible, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it served the
I was
narrative
like,
that they were trying
please
to
beat
go.
her ass. Please beat her up. Please beat her up.
She did
Low-key
One
her
Punch
something.
Man. She gave her one punch.
One punch
You know
man.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I mean, hopefully
they're gonna have a bunch of oddball characters in this show because that's also what populates the comic. So like we're gonna see some ridiculous.
They're gonna get the leader, bro. The leader would be awesome in the show.
No, I don't think we're gonna get the leader, bro.
No, damn, man.
No.
Here's the thing, though. You got
because he's not really needed here, though. But to be quite honest,
yeah,
not
you
right
got to
now.
remember though that like a lot of times we'll write
But he
off
wanted
certain
She-Hulk,
characters and then we'll see them and be like, oh wait a minute, this all right, this works. Just like a lot of people were like, wait, like people who don't read the comics were like, Ant-Man, really? And that movie blew up, and it was really cool when people saw what it was all about. And that's the thing. There are going to be characters in here that are going to be, you're going to be like, wow, really? Like, perfect example, because everything comes back to Daredevil, but Leapfrog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leapfrog is kind of a ridiculous character, But
Mhm.
Leapfrog was actually the
Sorry,
thing
Hell's
that
Kitchen.
kicked off one of my all-time favorite, 4-issue runs, which was basically when he disappears and his son goes into like this catatonic state, and he's like babbling about this superhero battling Daredevil, and Ben Urich is the only one investigating because the cops don't care, and he's trying to figure this out, and it's a really poignant story that all stems from a leapfrog, like a ridiculous character. So there are powerful stories that can be told with a lot of these characters. So some of them, will be straight up comedic, but I guarantee you there's going to be something in here that catches us off guard that you're like, I didn't expect this character to deliver like they are in this episode, and it's pretty cool. So don't write off any of these characters. As ridiculous as some of them may sound or look, I bet you will get some cool moments out of them.
So really quick,
the Leapfrog one's what I want to see, man.
So
I want to see
really
that.
quick. Now I want to basically go into like a small space of speculation, because I want to get everybody's thoughts on who they think this could possibly be, what this could possibly be, and where we're headed. So, Vinny, I'm gonna start with you. So we see this ship, and this is basically right before the crash took place. We see this ship. Vinny, who do you think this is? What do you think this is?
I mean, we all know he was on,
Sakaar
for 2 years. So, shit, it could be anything. For all we know, it could be the Game Master. For all we know, it could be somebody the Game Master hired. He might just want his prize fighter back. He might have, got control of the planet back and might want him back. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Obviously, doubt it's Scar. I mean, that's not likely, but it's.
That's how I wanted to be, Scar.
My point is they're not going to put Scar in this and then have somebody overshadow Jennifer. It's going to be all about Jennifer from here on, I believe. So I don't. If it is Scar, I don't think that they would reveal that to the end to set up whatever.
I don't think we're going to see that in this. I don't think we're going to see that in this show. Period.
Yeah. So it's possible that they do tease something from the Planet Hulk story, that it could be Scar or it could be, what was the chick he was with there? I forget her name. I'm drawing a blank. It could be her coming after him. I mean,
the warrior princess or something. I can't think of her name.
You know what I mean? Like the chick he was with there. I forget her name, but I imagine it could be something out of that storyline to set it up. I really it could be it could be a curveball. It could be something that we're just expecting it to be something from the Planet Hulk storyline, and it could be how they design the Kree ships, for all we fucking know. Like it could be.
That's what I was saying. This could be a Skrull ship. This could be something to do with Sword.
It could be a bait and switch. It could be a bait and switch. It could be like, obviously we all know what we want it or think it's going to be, and it could be their opportunity to switch it up on us and say we're not even doing that storyline because we kind of use too much of it in Thor. So we'll switch it up into something like Kree or Shi'ar or something like that, and it'd be totally different. I mean, but look at the design. I mean, that's so
purple and
right
gold.
out of something that would have been a ship in Planet Hulk.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a fucking blade on the front of the ship. It looks like I mean, if that's not a warship, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I mean, so I hope it is, and I hope it's something that sets that up. But what's really weird though is it wrecked their Jeep. They're both unconscious, and they don't follow up the attack. So why would they have just left?
So that's why I don't think it was an attack.
It's the same.
Did it actually?
I think it's
did it actually fire at them?
No. It didn't. It caught her off guard.
So I don't think it was an attack. That's why, who knows? That could have been Fury sending somebody to get Banner. So
but,
who knows?
If it was
But it's a Game Master's class. It's one of his class ships.
Right,
that's
but
what Bruce said.
What doesn't make sense is whether it was friendly or an enemy, they didn't follow up. If it was somebody Nick sent, they would have been like, "Hey, are you guys okay?" and brought them to Sword.
Unless they weren't there for,
they would have tried to finish the job.
Unless they weren't there for either of them.
But they were flying.
But why appear right in front of their car?
Well, they came down, right? But maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
That, right. That I mean, it is a coincidence, yes, but they might not have been there for maybe there's something else that we're gonna find out later that they were coming, landing on Earth for whatever reason, and it was just bad luck, and they weren't actually meant to, like, they weren't going for Banner. I'm not saying that's definitely the case, but it's a possibility because again, they didn't follow up either trying to kill them, capture them, or help them. So if they didn't, then they took off after. So why did they take off after? It might be because they were never there for them in the first place.
Yeah, scar driving student driver made a mistake. I don't know.
Student driver of the car. He made a mistake.
Driver,
wrong turn.
He doesn't really, he's new. He got this student driver bumper sticker on the back.
Student driver of the car. I swear.
I do agree, though, that I don't think we'll get the full reveal of what this
is or
who's on that ship. Even in this show, maybe we get another little bit of a tease at the end with like a post-credit scene with Banner or something. What is actually happening there, I feel like is going to be a full reveal in another show or movie or something. I don't think it's going to be full on. This is, because I just don't see that happening.
If anything, if we're going to see what actually happens with this, if they decide to show us any hint, it'd probably be in a space where the Hulk or Banner himself, she might actually call, Banner, or we might see a post credit where he's doing the research and figures out where it came from, and that's how we actually see it. So who knows? Really quick, we got a new member. Thank you very much for that, Mikey. Lito became a member of the YouTube channel. Mikey, thank you very much for that, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, my man, always, man. But yeah, definitely, like I said, I can see. I'm very optimistic, but I do say as a first episode, they nailed it. What were you gonna say?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, okay, so maybe time and years could be different from the Earth. So it could be a grown version of Scar, or it could be one of the Hulk's kids that may be coming to get him or something like that. But maybe time is different there. The 2 years he spent there might have been like, 10 years or something, their time or something like that. It could be different. So you can look at it like that way too.
This could also be a prelude to Secret Invasion.
And that would be
That's true too. Yep, that's true too. I didn't think about Secret Invasion. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it'd be a Skrull ship, but then again, we haven't really seen what their spacecraft looks like. So I don't know. It's tough.
That's the thing. We're going off the design, but the design is basically up to whatever they decide they want.
I don't feel like the design was
it's the same class Game Master ship. It's just different color.
I feel like the design is an important part of the hint. So that's what I'm going by the design. I don't think the design was an accident. I don't think they just say, "Hey, just put any type of ship together," and then they won't know. I think
they put this ship in here for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely for a reason.
But also remember that with the Secret Invasion, the whole point is making people think you are somebody you're not, making people think
not.
So disguising the ship, it's entirely possible.
Yeah, true.
We'll see. They bought a Scar skin. We'll see.
It's like Scar. I don't know, man. I'm thinking it might be Scar, to be honest. I don't know. I'm hoping for another Hulk.
That would be cool, but I don't think they're gonna do. I don't think they would do Scar before. I mean, because you gotta have Banner back. You gotta have Hulk back to what we all want him to be before you bring Scar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, well, shit, he's gonna kill Banner. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they have that journey of getting Banner back where he needs to be before you start bringing in elements like Scar and stuff, especially if they're this close to getting the rights back to be able to do full Hulk movies.
I think that's why it does make sense to bring in somebody like that, because that would be a catalyst to go back to a more primal route for him.
To go back to Scar.
But I think you need him to be in that primal state before you bring somebody like Scar. You could still
show up and kick his ass because he's a punk now.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah.
Because imagine if he shows up and his father, and he gets his ass whooped, and Banner has to be old school Banner in order to win.
Savage, yeah.
I don't.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool too.
Then you're gonna have him resent Scar forever because Banner doesn't want to go back to that savage Hulk.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
not saying he's going to go back willingly, but we know he's going to go back.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Then I feel
some
like then
point.
you
At
then
some
you
point.
make him and Scar adversaries forever now. Like they're like just entirely. So I don't know. To me, I just don't think that works well from a development standpoint. I think I don't want other elements before and then try and backtrack to World War Hulk and Planet Hulk. I want to give those their own start, fresh the way they should, and develop them along those lines. I don't like the idea of them kind of like bringing stuff from too deep in that storyline forward and then try and backtrack into it. It's just it gets messy.
I'm just being
In my
greedy as a
opinion,
Hulk fan.
In my
Everything
opinion,
Hulk
to be
greedy.
quite honest, I want him to vanish for 2 years, literally. I
Yeah,
don't want to see the Hulk for 2 years until we have the rights to show it the right way, and then bring him in and have everybody questioning, why the fuck is he so savage right now? What happened?
yeah.
I
Where's
would love to
Bruce?
see that.
What happened to Bruce?
I would love to see that.
Like a reverse version of the Illuminati, where he comes back to Earth already savage.
But we already know that they made an announcement that he is a member or he is actually one of the members of the Avenger for Secret Wars. They already made that announcement
Cool.
that
Right.
he's
Hulk.
one of the members that are going to be there. The Hulk.
And we all know that one of the most iconic Secret War covers is Hulk holding up that fucking mountain.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
hopefully to see
I
something
had
like
that. Yeah.
What if they do use, that point of reference? Hopefully, we're talking about Marvel doing the Secret Wars first story, because I don't think we're anywhere near far along in the MCU enough for them to worry about.
Not yet. No.
I was wondering. I was going to ask that. I think they might
but
mix them. I think they might kind of like mash both.
I would
together.
hope that they would do a Secret Wars.
Maybe
2,
after the Marvels.
Not have it be the Secret Wars 2 that came out in the late 80s, but be Secret Wars 2 and have Secret Wars 2 be the Hickman version. I would like to see that, because I feel like the Hickman Secret Wars is you need everybody. You need everybody already there in place, and Secret Wars is only 2 years away.
Do you think with everything that they could do with Hulk and getting him back to where he needs to be for Secret Wars, and then thinking about other characters that are involved in and what kind of journey they go through in Secret Wars, do you think we get a black suit Spidey?
Fuck yes.
That would be amazing, and I think we will. I think we will.
I'd be cool with doing the whole damn movie just to fucking give us that moment and fucking erase what Sony has done. My problem is like, does Sony get pissy about it? Because if they do, fuck them. Let's do it anyway.
Well, that's the thing. They've got to work out, like Marvel, if they want to do that, they've got to work out the deal with Sony to make that happen. I feel like they may have already started down that path, because why else would they have left a piece of the symbiote?
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
From No Way Home. Now, granted, I don't want it to be that fucking Venom, right? And I'm hoping that something happens to that Venom, that piece of the symbiote that alters it and gives us the real Venom that we want, and not like the goofy one from the Sony movies. But I gotta think that like if look, they've been planning Secret Wars for a while. They didn't just decide, okay, we're gonna do Secret Wars. They've been planning that for at least a good year or two or more behind the scenes. So they had to have had that in mind when they left that piece of the symbiote in this MCU in No Way Home. So that's is that going to be one of those things that is just like a little Easter egg type thing, or something that teases you but never comes to fruition? Or is that going to play a role in Secret Wars?
Look, I'll be honest. Even in the comic, it was a little random and out of place. If you go, like, I recently reread Secret War, and it was kind of fucking random just to set up some stuff that was going to go on in Spider-Man's book. So I'm not like putting all my hopes and dreams on, if they do a Secret Wars movie, we're going to see a symbiote on.
It was definitely, they had an idea for the Spidey books, and then they put it into Secret Wars.
It was a perfect opportunity
to it off. Not the other way around.
Yeah, to change it. Yeah.
World. So obviously it was something that was worked out. I don't have all my hopes and dreams on them, introducing a symbiote on an off-world planet for to attach to Pete, but it would just be cool. That's all.
Well, I mean, we'll basically see.
I
We'll
think
see
it's at
how
least
that
on their
goes.
radar.
Yeah.
I think it's going to. They're thinking about it. They got to be. They got to
So
be thinking
here's the
about it.
thing: there's a lot that I'm just going to wait and see how it's going to play out. But again, my thoughts on She-Hulk first episode. Loved it. I love the scene, and like I said, I'm very optimistic, very super optimistic about where this show is going to go.
Yep.
As long as they
Yeah,
give me the
dope.
same feels, as long as she stays the same. I think it was an amazing choice to pick her. I love her as an actress. I love her as Jennifer Walters. You know, I love the post-credit scene in this episode, which is pretty damn near funny.
That was hilarious.
Captain America.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was good, dude.
That was good. So I love
was
that.
good.
But anyway, can't wait to see where it goes. All in all, I'm excited about it. Hope everybody out there is excited about it as well. We will be back here to talk about episode 2 next Monday. Again, as we're diving head on into this show, because like I said, it's giving me all the feels. But thank you guys for actually being with us tonight. Jedi Kid, what you got coming up, bro?
I have to go pick up, and Brendan gonna be mad. I got so many Daredevil books because I bought. Remember the one we talked about that with the first run, that number 1 and 2. I got those sitting in my boy shop. I have to pick up my the rest of my Vader books. I haven't been over there in a while. I got like 20 books over there sitting. So I gotta get over there and pick up my books from past, present, future comics. If you don't know, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, one of the best shops to go to is my boy shop. And I have to get my Taskmaster. How was that? You got that live, right? Taskmaster.
Did you see that video I put up today?
Dude, yo, I cannot. Yo,
Dude,
I got to pick
Taskmaster is
that
a
up.
great figure.
Bro.
Figure.
Dude, I was so glad
phenomenal.
that the body. Dude, I cannot wait to get that thing. I got that.
Once you get it in hand, you'll see. It's a hell of a figure, bro.
Oh my god, I can't wait. And I still haven't got my moth yet. That's what I'm waiting for. Other than that, I'm good to go.
Yeah, definitely. It's incredible, man. So thank you for being here with us tonight. Vinny, what you got coming up, brother?
I'm doing some more,
Besides the broom.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a part-time job, bro. So I'm doing a lot of refiling and catching up on a lot of reading. I'm way behind reading this summer, so I'm looking forward to
me too.
catching up there. I'm about to shoot through my Fantastic Four one. I got a few years to catch up on with that. So, and then I'm just gonna keep checking away, trying to get some new art out for everybody, and just I got a lot. Eventually I'm sure I'm gonna do a She-Hulk piece soon, and I got some others that I want to finish up on. I have a backlog of art ideas I need to get on paper, so I'm looking forward to taking more advantage of having a little eye of the storm of the season here. So definitely, and look forward to more She-Hulk on the way, and that's about it.
Definitely, man. So again, it's always a pleasure to have you here in Vinsanity. As always, man.
Pleasure to be here, brother.
Definitely, man. Talking about the stuff that we love. Last but not least, Mr. Butt Naked himself, bro. What you got going on, man?
Man, I got a client shoot in the morning, and then after that, it's just like work. But I'm sneaking in some reading too. I'm trying to catch up to the Axe event, the Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals event right now. I'm still working through. I'm almost caught up on my X books. I had to take like a week or two off while I was just trying to get other stuff done. But I'm in the midst of that, as well as the Ed Brubaker run on Daredevil in my 98 to present reread. So, I'm just doing that stuff. And I've got some deliveries coming this week. I've got some prints coming, got some books coming, got some CGC slab goodness coming this week. So, just basically watching my door, waiting for deliveries and cranking out some work.
Yeah, definitely, man. So excited about that and so glad to have you here, brother. As always, everybody out there, really real quick though, to answer your question, for Dean's podcast, all of them.
WandaVision. Start with WandaVision.
Start with WandaVision. Yeah, WandaVision. Start with that. But watch all of them because you're gonna get a feel out of all of them. So basically, watch any chance you get. Watch all of them, brother.
But
Literally.
start with WandaVision.
Yeah,
Start with
definitely start with
WandaVision,
WandaVision.
and
Yeah.
but to be perfectly honest, I enjoyed the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, but I think
I love that show,
both
man.
Loki, I did too, but I think
Mhm.
both Loki and Ms. Marvel have a greater impact, other than like Sam becoming Cap and taking on that role.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm,
the developments in Loki and the developments, and especially with that musical cue and then that one word, in
Yeah.
in Marvel, I think those
Yeah,
things, and it also sets up the Marvels movie. So I think
the
those two
Marvels.
series kind of have a larger impact on the MCU landscape, at least for right now, than Falcon and Winter Soldier do. So I might save that one for last and watch the other ones first.
Definitely, man. Again, everybody out there, man, thank you guys for being on board this evening. Remember, if you haven't watched She-Hulk, you want to go ahead and tune in and watch it, embellish. It's a great show. If you go back and again, like I said, there's a hell of a comic run right now with the character, gets you familiar with her, sort of like gives you an ink of her backstory, tad bit. But you just jump right in. It's an incredible
And
piece.
Jack of Hearts.
And
Yep.
Jack of Hearts, definitely.
Jack of Hearts, yeah.
Yeah. So and is there's great content there. And yeah, the show's incredible. Like literally, I even think the way they've written the books and that they've written her and drawn her is, a great adaptation of what we actually see on television. So again, thank you guys for being here. I mean, I have to say, man, look, y'all coming here watching us. Look, we may not be the biggest show on Monday nights, but I think that as far as content, as far as comic content and the jargon back
We
and
give it
forth,
to you.
we give it to you. You're not going to get it, any other way than right here, in my opinion. So I definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in and just showing us the love and stuff like that every week. And can't wait to see y'all next week. So again, tune in next week, same time, same channel, so we can give you that goodness all the time, every day, like we always do. Love
Just for
y'all.
you, Skylar. Just for you.
Daredevil all day. I know she's gonna watch that, but can't wait to see y'all again. Peace out. Love y'all. Be kind to your neighbors and all the good stuff, man. As always, stay geek and love it. See y'all next week. Peace out.